Oh, this video is live now.
Oh, good. There we go.
Hey, that took a long time today. Wow. So we're on. Welcome to episode whatever this is. I think it's 30.
I think it's 36.
I don't know. I have to go back and recount them so that because it started at like episode 5 that I messed up the count wrong. So,
Yeah.
This is your Wednesday night conversation. Let's talk about Arizona Karen. Let's talk about police reform in America and abroad. And let's talk about the next level of Jumanji as Corona decides that we decide that Corona is going to take off and kill even more of us. And that and more in latest events. And this is Let's Have a Fefe. And no, we were unmuted. I just didn't unmute us when I started talking. So just waiting for the actual moment to be silent. We're gonna take a moment of silence for all that have been affected by police brutality. And we are back. And unmuted. I made sure this time.
Serotonin's been watching too much Fefe. She was spent a good chunk of the time on her show on Friday muted. That was good.
I know. I was the first one to be like, hey, do not copy my show, okay?
She's coming for our gig.
I was like, that's my thing. It's totally my thing. So, where are we on this thing? Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe. I'm Felicia Minor, and I am missing my lashes. That is all I'm missing. I just want to put my lashes on, and I just kind of, you know how it goes. And Freddy's over there. He is not pixelated. It's not the connection. Though when we first started running his connection, I was like, okay. He's there. We are Arizona's longest running drag live stream. This is more than just the gossip. It's the issues that matter most to you. And we've been getting deep the last couple weeks. We've been getting kind of deep.
We talk about real shit. We just don't talk about, Drag Race or whatever the fuck. Like, we actually talk about real shit. And I think that's important, and I think that's what sets us apart. So...
yeah. So share this episode with your friends, your family members, your Trump supporters. All lives matter.
And right, all lives matter. Folks that support Governor Ducey as well.
Just share it with them. They really love our content. I know they do. And I love sometimes our ads show up on Trump articles. So that's really helpful. That's really wonderful. So you keep sharing. We'll keep getting better. I promise. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And we are brought to you by Wigs of a Kind and the Burly Barber. You can find Wigs of a Kind on Facebook, or you look for Marissa Sanchez, or you just ask one of us. We know where she lives.
We will point you in the right
We
direction.
know where she lives. And the Burly Barber is back to booking appointments. Appointments only, though.
No walk-ins.
Don't be trying to walk in there. They're not. They're friendly, but they won't let you get a haircut. We want to thank our newest Patreon supporter, Sassy C. Diaz. Thanks, Sassy, for supporting us. And we have a total of 12 Patreon supporters. We want to thank Allison, Best and Brandon, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Jody, Leanne, Nicole, Patricia Mason, and Sassy C. Diaz. Yes. Support us today at patreon.com/Let's Have a Fifi. You could be a Patreon supporter too. And if you don't want to be a Patreon supporter, you could tip us. You could tip us by using the tip jar at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fifi. And we want to reiterate one more time that this is the last call. This next week is going to be the last call. I'm closing orders next week. So
basically get your orders in this week. So
yes, somebody saw me post that today and they were like, hey, don't forget me. And I was like, oh, hello. I've only been doing this for like 3 months. It's fine.
You expect anything less, though. I mean, come on.
We want to thank all of you who have ordered shirts, and Kat is the only reason. I was going to close it this week, but the only reason why I didn't close it this week is because Kat is moving, and she said she said she could take it, but I was like, oh, okay, well.
Right, so we may as well keep it open for another week and let Kat get moved and situated and whatever, and then we'll
then I'll be like, knock, knock, knock. Can I get that? All right. So just send me a message if you're interested in ordering a shirt. And they usually run $25. If they're like 2X or bigger, they're $30. I don't make the rules. You're not paying for shipping either, so don't come after me. Anyway, what'd you do this weekend?
So Saturday, I decided that I needed to go get a haircut. And I was not gonna lie, I was nervous about it. Not because I don't trust Jess and John at the Burly Barber, but because it's literally that is the closest I have been to anybody since March.
Wow.
Like I haven't been near anybody. Like I don't know if people really understand, those of us that are living alone and actually taking this seriously, like what we're kind of going through. Like that was literally the closest I have been to someone in months. But I needed to do it for my mental health. I know that sounds weird. But there are very few things that I'm self-conscious about, like really self-conscious about. I have a dad bod, whatever. I don't like, do I wish I had less jiggly meat? Sure. But does it really bother me all that much? I mean, not that much. My hair, however, is actually one thing that I'm very self-conscious about. And because I'm getting older and because male pattern baldness is a thing, the longer my hair gets on the sides, the thinner it looks at the top.
Oh.
And so, which is why, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months almost, I've been wearing hats and wigs and stuff for every Fifi. Because...
So you ran out of hats?
Yes, basically I ran out of hats. No, luckily I have like multiple boxes full of hats, so I didn't run out of hats. But it was getting rough, and on top of everything else, I'm like, I need to do one thing that...
You need a little bit of self-care, self-love.
Right. So I went and got my hair cut, and I felt really fucking good afterwards. I really did. It was necessary. It really was. I was a part of the Wild 2.0 digital drag show on Friday. That was hosted by Mary Jane Styles in Austin, with a whole bunch of badass entertainers from all around the world. and it was pretty cool. We raised about $200 for the NAACP legal fund. So you know what? We'll take it,
Yeah.
considering there were a bunch of other things happening that night, and whatever. So it was, $200 is $200. I recorded and edited a new video, and other than that, I haven't done.
Wow, you live the
Yeah.
eventful life. Which it doesn't sound like we'll be having any yeah. Anyway. Um so we had people over, but it wasn't a large amount of people. It was like 4 or 5. And even that made me kind of nervous. So I stayed in here most of the time. And our glam baby turned 1.
Yay.
And our oldest daughter turned 20.
Damn.
Yeah. That part right there was like, I'm sorry. What? How old are you? I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it. Yeah, so that was cute. There's pictures on my Facebook. If we're not friends, I guess you don't deserve to see. I'm just kidding. Hi, Brian. What else? I was interviewed. That for me was a little bit nerve wracking, but she turned out to be more nervous than I was. I was interviewed by a Cronkite student who's interning at CBS 5, but she doesn't know if she doesn't know if the story's going to air on TV or if she's just going to keep it like for a homework assignment or something. So I said, "Oh, either way, I would like to have a copy of it because you never know."
Right.
So that was cool. Then we closed the fundraiser with the largest total that I think I've ever raised. No, maybe not ever raised, but ever raised on Facebook. And we raised over $1,500. I almost said 15,000. That would have been amazing. $1,500 at 15:30. We closed out, and I had an anonymous donor who is checking with their employer to see if they will match the donation.
That's awesome.
Which
How
could
cool is that?
double the whole thing. So, I know that Richard Andrews, who is the founder of the Foundation for Black Heritage and Culture, is over the moon because at first he was like, "Who the hell are you?" And now he's like, "Way to go! This is amazing!" And I'm like, "Hey." I had just about as good a time as anybody because I did not expect this. But on the other hand, because that fundraiser ended, I was looking for something to, follow it up with in Arizona.
How's that working out for you?
There is a lot of not-for-profit organizations here that support the Black community. But not in the way that I'm asking for it.
Right.
So, including Freddy, have said, "Why don't you start your own?" I can't even unmute. I can't even unmute myself on Wednesday nights, and you guys want me to. You guys want me to run a nonprofit. So yeah, Arizona has a lot of growing to do. Physically, mentally, everything. So, I mean, we barely got Martin Luther King Day, and in some places in Arizona they call it Civil Rights Day. So,
we're getting there, I guess, slowly.
Yeah, we're getting there. And I spent part of the weekend working on an upcoming show called We don't really have an official title yet, and I need to hurry up and do that. But it's next Friday, and it's on Juneteenth, and it'll be from 7 to 9 for virtual Arizona Pride in Next Gen Arizona.
And that's an all black cast, right?
Mostly black. Yes.
Mm.
We'll work on it. And then I overbooked myself, I think. I just say yes to everything because I was like, yeah, it's virtual. Yeah, I could do that. And so I did agree to be a part of Ripple Phoenix's Ripple Briefs. So once a month, I will tell the Ripple Briefs. I will.
Fun fact, okay, the first time I saw the Ripple Briefs, when they were talking about it, my first thought was, Ripple's gonna send me underwear? How exciting!
Well, see, I had the same thought. I was like, is this gonna be underwear?
And then I found out they're not sending me underwear. I was really sad about that. Ripple, send me underwear. I will wear your underwear.
I'll do the segment in my underwear too.
Right? I will totally give me a Ripple Phoenix. I'll take briefs. I'll take a jock. I'll take whatever. Send me your underwear.
I think Jeremy's taking notes. Don't do that.
Say it.
Anyway, so if I can, I will show you my little bit. It's like 2 minutes, so bear with me.
Oh my god.
I know, 2 minutes of me. Felicia Fefe Minor here, and this week we're talking to the big boys. Yes, the big boys. And for a moment, we're going to be size queens as we talk about the condom of the week, the Legend. The Legend is made for those extra large boys who are well endowed but need the space. If you don't fit into a regular condom and you can't enjoy yourself when you're pleasuring yourself, then the Legend is for you. The Legend has extra space and is stretchy. Yes. So you can enjoy yourself and remain protected. With that, we have good news. In a recent study with the CDC, Black men are leading the charge at 54% of condom usage. Right behind that, we have white men at 44.2%. And right behind them, Hispanics at 42%. But we're not done yet. We still have work to do. You can stop the spread of HIV by finding the condom that works for you. Now, if you subscribe to Everything Ripple Phoenix will be suggesting condoms of the week every week, and you might find one that is just the right fit. Are you interested in giving the Legend a try? Head over to ripplephoenix.org, follow the link to Ripple Briefs, and then you'll receive some in the mail. I have been Felicia Fefe Minor, and this has been the Condom of the Week.
Like this.
That was we had good days and we had bad days.
It happens. I mean, for God's sakes, I just basically threw a bunch of random squares and shit on my face tonight because I'm like, whatever. It's fine. It's artistic, right? It's artistic.
Yes, it's a form of art. But does it support the Black community? Still waiting. Damn.
All right. So we're going to talk about my tip tonight. And we're going to go ahead and revisit how to stay safe pandemic. Because people obviously aren't fucking listening. Now, I'm going to try really hard to be nice about this shit.
Be nice.
So right now, if you guys look at a map of the United States that is color-coded as to which states are doing okay as far as, COVID and whatnot, and which states are not doing okay as far as COVID and whatnot, Arizona is bright fucking red. Bright fucking red.
Does that mean we're winning?
Yes, absolutely. So,
Easy.
in light of things like, I don't know, bars and shit opening, um, we're going to go through some basic common sense shit that I've seen plenty of people completely ignoring, but we're going to go through it again anyway. Number one, wear a fucking mask. Really fucking easy. Really, really, really fucking easy. Wear a fucking mask. If you've been at any of the marches or any of the protests, don't go to the fucking bars this weekend. You have been in extraordinarily close proximity with a lot of people. Arizona is in a crisis right now. If you've been at the protests and you haven't gotten tested, which if you were at the protest and got tested the next day, doesn't make sense to do that anyway. You would have to wait a week, probably 2 weeks to get tested to know whether or not you were safe.
I thought it was 14 days.
At least. Like, they're saying within a week you could test, but I would, 2 weeks is probably a safer bet. Don't fucking go to the bars. Don't, like, you literally would be putting everybody else at risk. Everybody else at risk. If you have to go to a bar, wear a fucking mask. I don't care if you're going to be like, well, how am I going to drink? Okay, you know what? If chugging that White Claw is so much more important, that's fine. Figure it out, but still wear a fucking mask. Maintain a safe fucking social distance. Which, I get that that's just unrealistic at this point. But again, this isn't really about you. This is about everybody else. This is about you putting other people at risk. And I've seen so many people doing things that they shouldn't be doing, not socially distancing, going and just hanging out with people, whatever, going out to eat, doing whatever, chilling with no masks on, all this stuff. Since for a while now. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Are you still there?
Don't share your drink, people. Again, you would think this is common sense, but at this point, I don't know that anybody's practicing anything that's even close to common sense, because just based on what I've seen. Because remember, if you put things on social media, it's there pretty much forever. People have screenshots, so just saying. Wash your fucking hands. I'm gonna say that again. Wash your fucking hands.
You don't have to talk about me like I'm not here.
Again, this should be common sense. But a lack of common sense in Arizona, as is obvious by our numbers currently, I'm not going to assume that anybody has any common sense anymore at this point.
Are we the highest?
And we're not the highest yet, but we're climbing. Our rates are climbing so steadily and so quickly that we're shooting there. We're aiming to be number one because
Yay! I love being number one.
If you are at a bar and you don't see anybody sanitizing surfaces, this is an issue. And you should probably just leave. It's seriously, this is basic shit, y'all. Basic shit. And lastly, don't be a dumbass. Just don't be a dumbass.
How do you do that?
By following all of the other things.
I'm not sure.
Ugh.
I'm not sure I can do all this.
No, probably not. I will not be at bars. I'm not going out this weekend. I'm not going to the bar. It's not happening. If you've been paying attention to the numbers, you will be very hesitant about doing similar things. Because speaking of numbers and things, we're going to go ahead and move on to things like current events.
While you were doing that, I had to put my lashes on. It was driving me.
I was like, I thought you just did that. So, again, we always start this with a little bit of perspective. So, April 4th, all right, April 4th was about 10 weeks ago. 10 weeks. That's just over 2 months, maybe 2.5 months, give or take a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
As of April 4th, Arizona had 2,000 cases and 50 deaths. As of today, which is 10 weeks later, about 2.5 months, we currently have 29,897 cases and almost 1,100 deaths. In fact, by this point, we probably do, since that data is from earlier today. Last week, we had 22,223 cases and 983 deaths. The number of cases has risen over 7,600 in 1 week.
Wow.
This is a problem. And when our numbers first started going up like that, everybody was saying, oh, well, we're testing more. Experts are now saying, yeah, well, no, now it's actually an issue. It's not more tests, it's an issue. Arizona hospitals are at critical capacity. And fucking Douchey continues to insist that this is not a crisis situation. I'm not sure what he would consider to be a crisis situation. At this point, I mean, I don't know what needs to happen for it to be a crisis situation in his eyes, a fucking dickhead. He's been under fire for not social distancing, not wearing masks.
I should have downloaded that picture. There's like a picture of him in a restaurant with a group of people, and they're all...
None of them, right. None of them, nobody's wearing masks. And last week, he was going out after his own fucking curfew. Because he's a fucking idiot. He needs to remove his lips from Trump's dick and pull his dick out of Arizona's ass. And recognize that he has screwed us sideways with no fucking lube at this point because he's an idiot.
Oh my.
11 Arizona hospitals have hit ICU capacity and ventilator use is quadrupled.
Oh my god, we're number 1.
Right. And again, most bars are opening this weekend. It's like a brilliant idea right now. Timing is impeccable.
So let's play devil's advocate here. I did see a couple of bar owners saying that they weren't going to open. Mainly, like, some of them are still doing remodels, which, hey, you got the time, redo your place.
I saw one bar, real quick, say they weren't going to reopen yet, which I thought was interesting because this particular bar has been letting people in pretty much the entire time. They've been holding virtual shows there. They've had groups of people there. So I'm like, well, what's the point then?
I don't think they've had more than 5 people.
Oh, yes, they have.
Oh, they have? Oh.
Oh, yes, they have. I've got screenshots.
And then some of them saying, you know, this is like their everything. This is their livelihood. I understand that part, but at what point do they? I don't know. Like,
well, here's
where's their survival at?
Right. Like I get it that it's their livelihood and people need to make money, but if people get sick, no one's going to be able to go out anyway. And what's going to happen is I can almost guarantee you, I will put money on this because I pretty much called this entire thing. At this point, I'm a fucking psychic. So if y'all need advice for something, just call me. I'm going to tell you because he's saying I'm a psychic at this point. Jesus. What's going to happen is...
Jesus is coming?
The bars are going to open up. The gays are going to go out in throngs. They're not going to pay attention to anything. They're going to start. They're going to hook up all over the place. They're going to do all the same shit that they've been doing. And there's going to be a massive uptick in cases and sicknesses and death in the gay community because people are going to be doing dumb shit. And then when that happens, there's going to be a massive shutdown. There's going to have to be a massive shutdown. And the second that someone finds out that they were out at such and such a bar, they've tested positive, they're sick, everybody else in that bar is going to have to get tested. That bar's going to have to shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So
my thing is there a happy medium? I mean, because we're going to barber shops, we're going to, you know, hair salons where there's people.
Like for me, the only reason I was okay with getting my hair cut on Saturday was I know that Jess and John are meticulous about this shit.
Well, they're clean anyway, but
it was me in John's chair. There was one other person in Jess's chair. Both John and Jess had masks on. Everything was being sterilized, whatever. As soon as I got out of my chair, my capey thing was taken and immediately put into a pile to be washed and sanitized. Everything was wiped down. Everything was sanitized. Mm-hmm. You're not going to find a bar with 4 people in it. And no one's going to want to wear a mask because then you can't drink. No one's going to want to stay 6 feet away from people because, oh, look, my homies, I need hugs. I need to make out with these people. So, like, I don't know that there is a happy medium. I guess, I don't know. The fact that the state is currently in such a crisis and people are just ignoring it mm-hmm. is concerning. Very concerning.
What's interesting to me about this whole thing is that I have friends that live all over, and so do you. And the people that don't live here, per se, are more cautious than we are, and we were only locked down for, 1 to 2 months.
Let's be real, we weren't even really locked down.
I have a friend that lives in Italy, and as soon as they said they could go out, nobody really went.
Right. And Italy was legitimately locked down. Like, there were countries and places that were legitimately locked down.
Yeah, like their banks stopped.
You were not allowed to leave your house.
Yeah, and the banks stopped everything.
Yeah. Golf courses weren't fucking open. Nothing was open. You couldn't, you could go get food, and some of them even limited times. Like, the store would be open from this time to this time, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And no line. You know how, we're allowed to have lines?
Mm-hmm.
Some countries are not allowed to have lines. Speaking of that, Latin America is blowing up with the coronavirus at a point where one of the authorities said that we're in danger. We're not doing well down here. So,
yep.
I don't know. If we're not learning from where it came from, we're not learning from where it's in, because in Latin America, everybody lives on top of each other. Literally, they do. Yep. There is no social distancing in Latin America because everybody is on top of each other.
And the president of Brazil was very much like Trump, where he was like, it's fine.
Well, because he doesn't make money off the poor anyway, so...
Right. Who cares?
Same thing with Trump.
Wipe out the undesirables. It's fine.
It's same thing with Trump. He doesn't make money off of poor people and minorities, so...
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's cool.
I was asked to make this more upbeat. I don't know. Edward says, that's a little judgmental to say it can't work without even seeing what bars are going to do. Basically, you're talking down to every bar owner, and that's sad. I say that I have been places, and I'm not talking about the bars, but I have been places where you can tell, they had little to no sanitation whatsoever in the first place.
Right.
I'll tell you that I never ask anybody. Have never really liked buffets. I've only gone to one buffet and actually sat down because I actually saw like them clean it and it looked really pristine. And I was in Vegas like months ago, but I was still very cautious. Um, I think more or less my feeling is it is your life because that's what I keep seeing people post. It is your life, but I feel like you should be very cautious with that because then you're affecting everybody else's life with that
Correct.
one choice that you make. And I don't know, it's just really, for me, I was already dodging people that one time we went to the aquarium. That was like
Mm-hmm.
my test drive. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And then we went to a restaurant, which we were nowhere near anybody. It felt like, you know how like when you know a restaurant's like not doing well in business?
Right.
That's what it felt like. But there were lines out the door for people to come in. So I don't know. I perspective is everything, but I also say be safe. Take all precautions that you can. Carry hand sanitizer with you. Um, I know that somebody was complaining about hand sanitizer because they work in a kitchen. Um, they run back and forth and use hand sanitizer. Find a hand sanitizer that is with the alcohol, because I know that food handlers have to have a certain amount of alcohol. And then I would say heavy. You can't have heavy moisture in the kitchen because that's where he works. But just I can't. I don't know. I say live your life, but I also say you got to be really careful. I see people
Mm-hmm.
marching, and people keep asking me if I've marched. I said nope. I'm doing what I can from right here, and literally that's what I did. I raised money. I cannot. I am a very high risk, but
I'm waiting for somebody to allude to the fact that I haven't been at any of the marches and the protests. And
oh,
if
that's a
they
very
do, then I will happily tell people why, but it's none of anybody's business um, why I haven't been there. But if if someone tries to call me out on it, I will happily tell them why, and then they're gonna feel like shit for it. But it's fine.
Uh,
Um,
Christopher says, I think the bar will take precautions, but how do you explain precautions to drunks who only care about having fun? That is my concern. I think that would be my concern too, because after you get to a certain place, um, inebriated or otherwise, do you wash your hands? Do
well, I mean,
you.
let's be real. I mean, we've all seen videos and pictures of people in the community who aren't drunk and haven't been practicing social distancing and haven't been wearing masks or anything like that anyway. So they're going to go to the bar and they're going to continue the risky behaviors. So, I mean, what's the difference? You know what I mean? Like, it's I'm concerned because we are legitimately in a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
We have we will by this weekend we will have over 30,000 cases. I
Uh,
guarantee it.
I will say that if you live on the Navajo reservation, please be careful of the public places that you go, because I don't know who or where I read this, but it is their rate is higher,
Hmm?
and some cases are because somebody has traveled off the reservation,
Right.
and like I mean you can't stop going to work. I understand that. It's just really interesting. I can't tell you how to survive it. I'm sorry.
Kareem says that GameStop has gone above and beyond any other store or public place I've been, which is, I think that's awesome, honestly.
Yeah. Um.
Oh, Guido has, first of all, spelled my name wrong.
Ooh.
But uh, He said, for anyone who would like the number to set up COVID-19 drive-up testing through Banner, the number is 844-549-1851. Again, that's 844-549-1851. And that's for you to be able to call, set up a drive-up testing through Banner. He said results take a couple of days, but for anyone with symptoms, it's a good number to test to get tested. Even if you don't have symptoms, go get tested, because WHO has already said, no, you can still transmit if you're asymptomatic. There just hasn't been a lot of research done on it. So, it's a big deal. I still love you.
Evelyn says somebody tried to call her out on LinkedIn about it. They're on LinkedIn, girl. They have to go and find you. That. Corey, there are tons of ways to be an ally without necessarily being present. Yeah, I know. It's nobody else's. Yeah, you're right. It's nobody else's business but your own. Oh wow, Guido, you are coming with it. Oh wow.
Oh, they lose their sense of taste. Felicia, you're screwed. And
that's it. That's all. And that's the last you see of Freddy. I'm so sorry. We can't hear you. So sorry. You keep going in and out. I don't understand what's going on.
I'm funny.
Who brings these people on here?
You're welcome.
Anyway. What do they do if they test positive for COVID-19? I believe the first step is to quarantine for 14 days, right?
Correct.
And then I'm not a health expert, so I can't tell you. Well, I'll wait for Guido to chime in.
Right.
No, Corey.
I'm not canceled. I'm funny.
Oh my god.
Oh Lord. All right. So
what's next? I had to catch my spot. Oh, so you're at that part. Let's go to this part. So, the world has changed in a matter of 3 weeks now? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I want to start by saying that George Floyd's daughter, I saw the cutest video, and she's like on the shoulders of his brother. And she says, "Daddy changed the world." Oh my God.
Yes.
I'm a crier.
Yes.
That made me get it together. She definitely understands what's going on. Just because they're young doesn't mean they don't know what's going on. So to encourage you, because somebody asked me, because I was that designated black friend, I guess, about movies as they pertain to like Black history and civil rights and stuff like that. I will say that Netflix will offer you the help, and that is not Black history, nor is it something that you should base your allyship or self-education on. So, if you are looking for that, there is a section, like when you go to the search section and you can look by genre, there is a section that is Black Lives Matter. They have made that section. They're not putting it on the front page for...
Netflix is.
Oh, they did put it on the front page?
Netflix has a big...
They must have just started
right
that.
There.
Because...
I watched a fantastic...
What was it?
And Amazon's doing the same thing.
Yeah,
But
Amazon.
the documentary I watched, I think yesterday, was I think it was on Amazon. I'm trying to remember. I have too many fucking streaming services. I can't keep anything straight anymore.
You never were.
It was a documentary on the Black Panthers,
Mm-hmm.
which was fantastic. If you guys, I'm pretty sure it was on Amazon. Go find it and watch it, because there are so many parallels between what happened with the Panthers in the 60s and what's currently happening now. What the Panthers were fighting for, what they were like, their whole everything.
Mm-hmm.
Really, like it could, you could literally put, like, change the dates to today, and it's pretty much the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not
Um,
familiar with the Black Panthers and what they did,
mhm.
and you know who they were, like, really, go watch it, because it was really, really good, really good.
So I watched Selma. I am guilty. I didn't see that yet. And I watched I Am Not Your Negro, which is James Baldwin was a key piece in the civil rights movement, and you don't really realize it because you're not taught that. You know who he is, but you don't realize he's like a
Right.
key element to how that cog is moving. And watching this movie, I had an education moment, because um, in I Am Not a Negro, there is an instance where there's a cop with his knee on a woman's neck, and I think he killed her, which made me then kind of like self implode. Like, I had this awful feeling for like 2 or 3 hours, because I was like, you could instantly erase the dates, just like you were saying, and shift it to 2020,
Right.
and just replace her with George Floyd, and here we are. Here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that,
Another really good one. Oh, I was gonna say another really good one that's on a couple different platforms. I think it's on Netflix. It might be on Amazon too. Is What Happened, Miss Simone? Have you ever seen that one?
mm-hmm,
That one's fucking amazing. It's about the singer Nina Simone, who basically ruined her career because of her activism and
mm-hmm,
her unwillingness to basically conform, and you know, to just sort of assimilate and not speak up for black rights and civil rights. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's heartbreaking at the same time. But again,
mm-hmm.
it's one of those things that, these are a lot of key figures, and key events that have happened in within the civil rights movement, and these are important things to watch, especially for folks like me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're white, watch this shit. It's important.
What are some recommendations that you personally give? What any personal favorites? Um, those were the ones that I would start with. There are some other ones too. Oh God, of course my
Oh,
brain.
Cassandra, let me know. It's called the movie. The one documentary is the Black Panthers Vanguard of a Revolution.
Oh, okay.
That's one, and I believe it's on Amazon. It's fantastic. Go find it.
There are so many. I've been watching like one movie a night, so and I believe they're on there until the end of
We,
June. So,
we
um,
can compile a list of things and
yeah. Or even
and
as I
put them
watch
on the
them.
webs on our page or whatever. Some ones that we've watched and we're like, oh, this is really good and really relevant, and throw them up there.
So one thing too is, while this is all going on, you know that it's really bad when you know that Elmo and Sesame Street are explaining it. Now, for those that keep
I think
saying
that's amazing.
yes, and for those that keep saying it'll all go away, or you're outraged for no reason. I want to say that no, Sesame Street doesn't usually take on topics like this if it's going to go away. At this point, I don't think it's going to go away, and I think a lot of people are open to learning and listening and changing. So, Elmo and Sesame Street had a town hall on CNN. I posted it. I can post it again because I sent it to someone who was like, I needed this. And I think the part that it's for everyone, but I think the part of us that gets so frustrated is because we're adults. We're thinking, no, I need like a huge concentrated version that tells me A, B, and C. But when you listen to you may laugh at me and think this is the most ridiculous thing listening to Elmo. But you have to understand Elmo is puppeteered by a black man. So
is he still?
I think so.
Because his original puppeteer is I'm gonna I can't. I'm gonna find it out. Because his original puppeteer was fired because.
Oh, of that. Oh, wait, hold on. Who is Elmo's
I'm gonna find out. You keep talking.
Okay, good. Was he fired? I'm interested.
I'm looking. Yeah, he's not his current.
Who's his current one?
He's not his current puppeteer. I think his current one
is a white man.
Is
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, he's white.
He white. But still.
Yeah, Kevin Clash was who did it before, and then he was fired. But
well, if you want to know who the one was before, it was a good documentary on Netflix. Too bad. Let's see. But it is a good because they break down racism, they break down why people are protesting. Bar done, good for kids, good for people that don't really get it, good for everyone. Also, because I'm interested in this, but I did see a lot of people saying, well, I'm going to buy more expensive ice cream from now on. I didn't know what that was about at first. And then I was like, oh, here they are again. So if you don't know, Ben and Jerry's, you know, the founders, Ben and Jerry, are very, what are they? They're very active. They believe in equality. When same-sex marriages came...
Yeah, they're very
yeah, and so they say, okay, don't buy my ice cream. I remember that when gay marriage was approved and it all went through. He said, don't buy my ice cream then. Like, literally. He said, okay, bye. But we all bought it.
Right.
And have bodies to tell about it. So, they got arrested protesting in I'm not sure if it was a Black Lives Matter march, but they are fully in it and think that this is a greater cause. We need to be about this. And again, they said, don't buy my ice cream if you don't support it. And shit. I mean, I love the little pints, so I might.
Right? I need to, like, I feel like every payday I need to go and get a pint of Ben and Jerry's just to have.
I mean, shit. If you're that supportive, and you don't give a shit if your business goes out, I'll support you. I'll support you. What else we got here? So that leads me to saying, oh, you know, all the people that say protests don't work. This is for you. So, in many cities
Mm.
with metropolitan police departments, they're, what is it called? Disbanding or unbanning? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Disbanding police departments and like tearing them apart and, figuring out who's who, who's the bad seed, who's the good seeds, who's this, who's that. And they are working on reallocating funds to support disbandment and building a better police force that's more community driven, not just some bully that comes to your neighborhood and puts handcuffs on you. Um, there are a lot of cities putting, I think the Judiciary Committee wants to do this too, is do the 8 things that Obama was talking about years ago. And that includes
Mm-hmm.
bans on chokeholds, bans on no-knock notices, or entering without a no-knock notice, which is in
Right.
Breonna Taylor's instance, they entered without even making sure she knew that they were coming, um,
Right.
and this has led to an amazing thing. I don't understand why we didn't have this years ago. Because in an instance, an officer can go from one police force and move to a different city
Mm-hmm.
and
But that's exactly why, though. It's that thin blue line, and it's about, well, if we don't say anything, it's like what they do with Catholic priests.
mm-hmm,
They don't fire them. They don't whatever. They just move them to a different parish
relocate.
after they've been accused of things that they shouldn't be doing
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. They don't even fire them. They don't do anything. They just, we're just gonna move you over here,
Yeah.
and then they do it again, and then we move them again.
So there will be a national database that will, if your misconduct is reported, it'll be in there. And, excuse me, it'll be like, I know like when you teach, I don't know if this is national. No, that's not national. I know it's statewide. But if you like teach, like if you move to another school, like a little red flag will come up and it'll be like, hmm, hmm.
Well, it's like, I mean, it's like the national like fingerprint database
Mm-hmm.
and shit like that. Like if you're a fucking felon or if you do bad shit, if we have your fingerprints, you go anywhere, it's gonna pop up on the database. I mean, that seems to be the same. Bad, dirty asshole cops should be the fucking same. No one should be above that. If you're a dick
Mm-hmm.
and you do shit you should be doing, you shouldn't be able to bounce from one precinct to another. Like and I think that's part of the problem is that nobody's ever being held accountable, and that's why the general consensus is that all cops are bastards because you can't say, well, no, okay, well, the good cops, just like we've seen in fucking videos,
Mm-hmm.
you have one or two bad cops doing something stupid and a whole bunch of good cops standing around doing nothing. You
Uh,
are just as complicit.
so
Just as complicit.
Arizona has started its own police reform bill. And that was co-sponsored by Greg Stanton, um, who has been always supportive of the community. Um, on top of
Mm-hmm.
that,
Yep.
I watched testimony from George Floyd's brother um, as he presented to the House Judiciary Committee. Um, he remained calm, but you could tell that the emotion is still raw. Um, and
Right.
they listened because sometimes they don't listen. They say
Mm.
things and they wholeheartedly look like they were listening. To say that they will do something about it is up to them. But I hope that this does bring to light um, that there is a problem. To the chief, I can't remember what city he was in. Was it New York? I don't know. But who said we deserve to be respected?
Minneapolis.
Oh, was that him? Um,
I think so.
uh, that's a sign of a
Maybe it was
dick.
New York. I don't know.
That's a sign of a dick anyway. When you say you should respect me.
I'm like, are you calling that? What I think is funny is I'm like, are you the pot or the kettle in this? They're like, stop calling us thugs. I'm like, what?
I'm like,
You're a bunch of idiots.
But you were like standing up there with the president.
I'm like, how's it feel, asshole? Right.
Speaking of the Pope, he has joined the movement of Black Lives Matter and even was pictured with a Black Lives Matter sign, and is telling people that this is like a serious deal. So it's getting it's there, and you know that the protests are working because Cops, the show that that's like my guilty.
31 years it's been on.
Yeah, since I've been a kid, I have seen that show.
Yep.
And I even have friends that
31 years.
I have friends that were on there, that were officers before you start.
I didn't say anything. I said nothing.
So, you know, things are changing, but then when you think things are getting better, they take 2 steps back. And I couldn't believe it. I thought it was like fake or something at first. In Buffalo, an officer pushed a protester who was returning a mask or a helmet, a police helmet, to the officers and wanted to know who he should give it to. You can hear him in the video saying, "Who should I give this to?" or something like that. And then you see them two-hand.
No, he tripped.
No, he two-hand him and put this frail 75-year-old man, two-hand him and watched him go back and fall. And then that same officer walked by him, saw blood coming out of his ear, and kept walking. It took like 5 officers back.
One turned around and was going to help him. And then the guy that actually pushed him, so one officer who was standing next to the guy that pushed him, walked by and went, "Oh my God, he's bleeding," and went to go help him. The officer that actually pushed him told the other officer no to back off, left the guy sitting there, and then you see him on his radio. So what happened is those 2 guys were arrested, and all the other fucking cops that were there decided to protest the fact that these 2 dickheads were fired, and they resigned, which they didn't resign. They resigned off the special task force and kept their jobs and were just reassigned to a different thing. It's like, really? So you're and this is why the whole, yes, all fucking cops, because they're not worried about this old man that had his head literally cracked open by some dickhead who pushed him.
Forcefully.
They're more worried about their buddies losing their jobs.
Now,
that's why all cops are.
So they're being charged, and yeah. But we bring it back home because I like to bring things back home. So we've watched Karens all around the country, and we thought, oh, well, we haven't seen one here. Well, our time is up. We like to be number 1, and we broke the internet doing it. So, in a classy establishment, may I add, a convenience store. So let's say Karen is here. Karen had I don't know the pre-story too well, but they were having an argument, and she says, "You need to go back to where you came from." Meanwhile, the girl's saying, "I'm from here. I was born here. I'm Native American. You are the immigrant. You need to go back where you came from." And she keeps arguing with the cameraman who is taping her, and I wish I knew her name, but arguing with her. And so she gets all...
I can tell you what her name is. The woman?
Yeah.
I can tell you. Her name is Tamara Harrion. She actually owns a law firm in Glendale with her husband. And her husband has actually apologized for his wife's behavior because she has undiagnosed, untreated, random mental illness.
You know what? I gotta end this. I gotta get up. I, I,
Mm-hmm.
I need to go.
And undiagnosed, untreated, unmedicated. So basically, no, she's not fucking, doesn't have any sort of mental illness. She's a fucking cunt. And, ooh, so when I found out what her name was, if you go to Google, because they own a law firm, you know, and as soon as somebody finds out who these people are, if you go look at the reviews on Google, they do not disappoint.
Oh.
It's Harrion Law Firm. Harrian Law Firm, and it's in Glendale. And if you look at them, if you look at the Google reviews, they're absolutely brilliant.
Oh wow. Interesting. So I call it the slap heard around the internet. It's because no sooner than it happened, it was on the internet, and it went viral. And I remember, like, early afternoon, what was it, like a day ago or something? And I was like, what is this? And I kept seeing on Twitter, it said Arizona Karen. And I was like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. And so I had to click, because, you know, I like a train wreck. And when I saw that, I was like, you know what? Good for her. Good for her. She slapped that bitch. So, I'm going to keep calling her Karen. I know her name now, but I'm going to call her Karen. Karen pushed the young lady who she told to go back to where she came from. And then she didn't even react. She barely got touched and she went boom. And I was like, woo, yes. Oh, that was for all of us.
Oh, it was brilliant. It was amazing.
What she's lucky of is that she wasn't in a more public place and that she didn't get jumped. Because I bet you if she was in South Phoenix and had been acting a fool, she would have got jumped. Oh my God. Anyway. But it doesn't end there. Sadly. So if you're a fan of CrossFit, I think that you should find something similar to it and stop doing it and supporting it. Because the CEO now has resigned after being on a company call with everybody and saying that we are not mourning the death of George Floyd. I was like, oh.
Don't say shit like that on a company call. Someone's gonna call your ass out for it.
You're like, oh, you know you have people in your company that are black, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that had to have been the most uncomfortable call. That's probably not okay. Obviously, he knew it wasn't okay because he resigned before they fired him.
Right.
They posted a statement on their website. Bitch, I gotta go see this. I'll wait. I gotta wait until this is over because I will get sidetracked and you guys will be here all night. Did I miss anything? I think I grabbed everything that I could see on the internet.
I think we covered pretty much everything.
That's what I saw on the internet.
Guido did point out that Martin Gugino, who is the gentleman that was knocked and broke his head, basically, Trump has said that he is part of some secret Antifa squad. So basically, he's like a secret plan, and you know they're like super soldiers or 75-year-old poorly balanced elderly gentlemen.
So Donald Trump hasn't heard that the Republicans are denouncing him at that point when he says stuff like that.
He is an idiot, and yeah. Anyway, what gigs do we have coming up? We have pretty much all the same gigs except for one.
Yes, you can be in it if you want.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and reserve that for black entertainers because that's what it should be.
Uh-huh. Anyway,
Mm.
so we
Mm-hmm.
have on the 12th, which is Friday, Queer Voices for Black Lives, a
Mm-hmm.
virtual benefit. It'll be taking place on Twitch. We're both in it. Um, I just have to decide which video I want to put in it because I haven't finished the one that I wanted to do.
Supposed to be in by tomorrow. I better get on
And then we have Drag Story Hour Arizona on the 19th. We're playing around with time still, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what time it's going to be exactly, but it's you, me, and Sassy.
And we reading some
With
books.
I think there'll be some good. Yes, there'll be some good stuff read for sure.
Yeah. And then later on the 19th, I will be hosting the Juneteenth event that is presented by Virtual Arizona Pride and Next Gen Arizona. I have not put together a show in nearly 10 years. And I just want to say,
like the president, better get on that shit.
I just want to say that most of the people that I'm working with have been very nice, and I'm glad it's a virtual show, but kind of not, but kind of am. Because if I was doing this in person, I'd probably be a wreck. Anyway, and then the next day, because we like to book things, I never sleep. We'll be having a flat.
Sleep. I don't. What is sleep?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I haven't slept in months. It's fine.
It's okay. It's overrated. We'll be having a Flagstaff Pride edition of Let's Have a Fefe. I can't remember what time it was. I wrote it down.
7. It's from 7 to 7:45.
Okay. I'm glad you remember these things.
I do, yeah.
So that's us in a week's time. You'll see us like 4 times if you want. 4 times.
Right.
Wow.
Don't forget to get your shirt orders in this week. Next week they're going to get sent off. So if you want a Let's Have a Fefe shirt, make sure you talk to either Felicia or myself, and we will get you situated. They are of all different sizes. You've got crew necks, you've got V-necks, and we've got tank tops. It's fucking hot outside, so I got myself a tank top because it's fucking hot outside. You can look good while you're doing your socially distant grocery shopping and, maintaining good social distancing and wearing your mask. And since you can't see your face, then the rest of you may as well look stylish in a Let's Have a Fefe t-shirt.
Oh, should we start making masks too?
Wait, what?
I have to ask Kat. I have to ask Kat before I say that too loudly.
Right.
She'll be like,
right.
"What?"
You could have your own Let's Have a Fefe mask, wouldn't
that? You love Karen. Oh my gosh, I wasn't talking. I love the hairstyle Karen, but I don't like the people Karen. Sending your stuff tonight. Okay. I see you. I have to wear. Ooh, you wear a mask? Oh shit. Maybe we're in the wrong business. Should have been selling masks. Anyway, what else we got here? So we have upcoming guests. We have Sham Wise, the author or the co-author of Sightseeing with Sandy. I read it in one of the story hours. I don't know about that one. And then we have more guests coming up soon. We want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Wigs of a Kind. Marissa with Wigs of a Kind. I know Frances is watching. Maybe Marissa's watching. She said she was. You can find them on Facebook.
She was. I don't know if she's
you can find them on Facebook. Or find Marissa Sanchez, or just hit up one of us. We'll direct you to where to go. You can find the Burley Barbers. The Burley Barber at theburleybarbers.com. Special thanks to all of you who support us on Patreon. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe. You can also tip us at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. Again, if you want a shirt, I keep saying it because I feel like maybe I didn't say it enough and you didn't hear me. If you want a shirt, get your shirt ordered now. And I'm submitting next week when Kat says go. I'm going. So don't be like, oh, is it too late? I'll be like, yeah. What else? Be sure to like this episode and share it with your friends, enemies, Trump supporters, and people that support the All Lives Matter movement. Be sure to subscribe to us as a podcast. You can listen to us on Google Play, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Right now, the episodes are like really late. Really late. But when I put them up, people are listening. So I need to be more on the ball about that. Thank you to all of you who watch us on the replay. You can, or watch us live and on the replay, excuse me. We'll see you next week with our special guest, Shan Wise, the author of Sightseeing with Sandy. This has been Let's Have a Fefe. Good night.
Good night.